Europe from 2022 will have speed limiters fitted to them under new rules provisionally agreed by the EU. The technology uses cameras to automatically slow down a car if it exceeds the speed limit. The UK is expected to adopt the measures regardless of the outcome of Brexit, as Sarah Walton reports.
It looks set to be the biggest change to driving since the introduction of seatbelts. From 2022, cars, vans, trucks and buses sold in Europe could be fitted with technology that stops people breaking the speed limit. And safety charities say it would save thousands of lives.
These new measures really offer a huge leap forward for road safety, not just in the UK but in Europe as well. They could save 25,000 lives and 140,000 serious injuries over the next 15 years, and that really is staggering.
The speed limiters would use GPS information and digital maps to tell cars what the local speed limit is. As well as that, the European Commission has approved plans to fit technology that detects when drivers are distracted or falling asleep, a system that keeps vehicles in the centre of lanes, and accident black boxes that record vehicle movements. But some motoring organisations, like the AA, say taking control away from drivers may make them more complacent.
What we must ensure is that the technology doesn't become so overpowering or get drivers in a position where they can switch off. Yes, there is a whole world of talk around moving to fully autonomous vehicles, and this technology will put us in the right direction towards that. But ultimately, the best speed limiter in the car is the driver's right foot.
And there are differing views from drivers and pedestrians.
I think it's a ridiculous idea because sometimes you have to go faster than an overtake. Somebody may be dawdling.
It will save people, prevent people from accident, so I think it's a good idea.
I think it's a bad idea. I mean, for the same reason I don't use cruise control on a car, even if a car's got it. You know, I feel that if I'm in the car, I need to be in control of it.
The Department for Transport has welcomed the idea, but it could still be several months before the European Parliament formally approves the plans. Sarah Walton, BBC News.
Well, joining me now, Erin Baker, who's the editorial director at Auto Trader UK, joins me now from the Goodwood Motor Circuit. And Erin, everybody's going to agree that anything that makes things safer is a good thing, but there's a but here, isn't there?
Yeah, I think there are several buts. Yes, anything that makes saving lives a more realistic proposition is a good thing. But the question is, what is going to help prevent accidents? What is going to help prevent collisions with pedestrians and cause occupant and pedestrian fatalities? And I'm not sure that just simply making cars adhere to whatever the speed limit for the road is the right option. It's the same blanket idea as governs 20-mile-an-hour zones in towns. And the point is, it's taking responsibility away from the driver, as some people have already said. And also it's taking into account not at all the conditions on the road. You know, you might be on a 40-mile-an-hour road where 40-mile-an-hour is not remotely the right speed for that road. It might be a lower speed limit, might be a greater speed limit, depending on the conditions. And any sort of automating of the speed at which the vehicle is travelling at gets rid of all those variables, and that's not a realistic proposition.
Will this apply to bikes as well?
To motor, I have to say, pedal bikes, you'd be pushed to reach anywhere.
No, but motorbikes.
Yeah, so the idea is motorbikes, no, because, you know, you've got to put that camera, the software on the front to recognise the speed signs that are going past on the road. I mean, I have to say that motorbikes is a really good example because I ride motorbikes as well. And I know that coming off a motorbike at 20 miles an hour could be cause a really serious accident and fatality for the rider. And yet the software would say if it's 40-mile-an-hour speed limit, you're okay up to 40 miles an hour. It instills a false sense of confidence in the owner of that vehicle. There's also the case with many of these vehicles that use the sign recognition data to determine what the speed is for the road. That in some cases, I've been speaking to manufacturer PRs who say that their cars are capable of misreading the speed limit signs on the back of lorries. You know, on a motorway, a lorry can be governed by a 60-mile-an-hour speed limiter, and they can have a sign printed on the back of the lorries. Occasionally, cars will pick up on those signs and think, oh, it's 60 miles an hour on that road, and limit the driving speed there, which is entirely inappropriate.
There was a time when people would get behind the wheel to just go out and have some fun, and I'm not equating fun necessarily with speed, but are those days gone?
I think they are certainly in danger of going. As you say, I'm at the Goodwood Motor Circuit today. It's the spiritual home of the petrolhead, which I would class myself. And I think petrolhead car lovers in the UK, we are worried about, how far automation goes and how quickly automated cars arrive on the scene. I think we're a long way off a fully automated car yet, but this is a step in that direction. And what it doesn't take into account is the need to update driver skills alongside that. I think, the most important part of this legislation by a long way is not the speed limiter, it's the emergency braking that is also going to be mandatory on cars, automated emergency braking. And in my mind, that's going to do a lot more to save lives than limiting the speed.
Erin, it's all very well having new cars that don't go over the speed limit, but there are still going to be many, many more cars that can. How do those two marry together?
Yeah, well, you have to ask yourself, again, I can hear right now out on the circuit outside my office, the thrum of the mighty Ferrari V8 and cars that are whizzing past my office are perfectly capable of 200 miles an hour. Now, you'll always have the German de-restricted autobahns, but I don't think they'd welcome everyone flying over there to put their skills to the test. We see these cars exist at the moment. Some cars are restricted to 150 miles an hour. We know that Volvo is perfectly capable of producing cars that will do 200 miles an hour, but will restrict all its cars to 112 miles an hour. So, what you might look for is some sort of ability to turn off that limiter, which we understand is going to be enforced, at least initially, that drivers will be able to override that facility simply by pressing firmly on the throttle. And so, bring your car to a circuit and give it the full beans.
Erin, great to talk to you. Thank you very much for that. Now, you're watching Afternoon Live. Let's have a look at the weather. That is with Stav Donail. Stav.
Hi Simon, thank you very much. It's a bit cloudy out there across northern and eastern areas, but the sunshine is increasing, especially across the southwest and in towards Wales and the Midlands. And the next few days, high pressure is still with us, so we're looking at a lot of dry weather. And with more sunshine, I think the next couple of days, it should feel even milder. We've got high pressure with us then, more cloud across its north and eastern flank, and this weather front's bringing thicker cloud and outbreaks of rain to the far north and northwest of Scotland. More of a breeze here too, but elsewhere, after a lovely end to the day across Wales, the Midlands, southwest England, temperatures will fall here under clear skies overnight, but it's generally quite a chilly night to come, although 9 or 10 degrees likely there for the western hours. Now for tomorrow, we'll hold on to the cloud, the breeze across the far northwest of the country, but elsewhere, after a chilly start, we should see more sunshine around, so those temperatures will respond. It will feel milder for many into the afternoon, 15, 16 degrees across many central and eastern areas. There's a similar picture on Friday with highs of 17 or 18 perhaps across the southeast, but then conditions turn much cooler. We'll see a weather front move south this weekend. It'll turn much cooler with the risk of frosty, cold nights.
This is BBC News, our latest headlines. MPs prepare to vote for the kind of Brexit they would like to see, but the Prime Minister insists her plan is still the best way forward. Theresa May is meeting her MPs later today after hinting she'll try again this week to get her deal through Parliament for a third time. Putting the brakes on speeding, plans are revealed to fit all new cars with a device to keep them within the limit. And officials in an area of New York State have declared a